Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I'm your host Wally, and today we are looking at the great city of Port Arthur. Port Arthur is an awesome place to go visit with plenty going for it. Here we have Tex Ritter Park, which is where we have some Dutch settlement stuff going on. But the thing to remember about Port Arthur is that it is mainly a refinery town. It's right in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, and as a result, it's got a lot of power plants and a lot of gas refineries and all that stuff running pretty much 24/7. But that's not all that Port Arthur is known for. And you get to find out more about the city at the Museum of the Gulf Coast. A lot has happened here. It's in the middle of not only the oil fields and gas fields, but also a lot of wildlife and a lot of history have happened there in this area. That's why lighthouses were important, and if you come here to the Museum of the Gulf Coast, you'll also find out that a lot of athletes came from this area, from the Beaumont slash Port Arthur slash Nacogdoches area, and there's our Jimmy Johnson. Plus, a lot of musicians also can lay their claim to a part of Port Arthur and surrounding areas, such as the Big Bopper. Of course, he's famous for dying with Richie Valens and Buddy Holly. And then also famous is Janis Joplin. And there you see a replica of her porch, plus some statues of her. So as you can see, Port Arthur has a lot going for it. It's also a pretty religious town. There's some shrines that you should visit, such as the Lady of Guadalupe Shrine, which is about the Virgin Mary of Guadalupe appearing to Juan Diego over in Mexico. But they have a replica of it here, and people go and leave their flowers and their candles and their wishes there. It's a pretty nice little area. It's pretty clean. It's pretty well kept, and I'm always a big sucker for shrines. I like going to them. Then we have the Queen of Peace Shrine, which is also devoted to the Virgin Mary. The Vietnamese were welcomed here by the people, and since they were welcomed with open arms, the Vietnamese decided to build a statue of the Virgin Mary in their honor. And Port Arthur does have a Vietnamese population. Some of them are Catholic, so they have embraced the Virgin Mary and Christ and all that. And you get to walk around this little garden and get to see some of the statues of all the stuff going on. Of course, this is one of my favorite statues that they have here. It's on the 12 Stations of the Cross, and there's a guy that they got to carry the cross for Christ. But don't worry, there's still some Buddha action going on right next door, or pretty close to it. So you can see a Buddha, if you so wish. They also have Rose Hill Manor, which is a fancy house where they have events now. The lady at the bank ended up purchasing it and then donated it to the city so that they could continue to have their fancy parties after she was gone. Plus they have the canal that's been built right next to it with the levee there. And then you can take the MLK Bridge and cross over onto Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island, ladies and gentlemen, which is really just about fishing. It sounds like it's going to be exciting, and there's going to be this and that, and you'll go here and go there, and drinking and nightclubs and all that. But no, it's just a nature island with a lagoon in the middle, and there it is, and people just go there and fish, I guess. If you're into fishing, it's a pleasure island. Also nearby is Searim State Park, where you can get some beach action going and see some gators. Gators are always fun to look at. There's also some marshlands that you can go and check out if that's more your thing. But most people come here for the beach and get to enjoy some sun when it's warmer, I bet. And like I said, they do have some marshes, and they have a pretty cool walk that takes you all around it. Plus, you can have daily picnics there. Also close by is the Sabine Pass Battlefield State Historic Site, which commemorates the Battle of Sabine Pass, where the Confederates were able to beat back the Union Army. And once that happened, the Union Army pretty much left Texas alone for the rest of the conflict. So I guess this is where they celebrate that history. Also, if you're in Port Arthur, you're almost at the Texas most southeasternmost point. I hope I'm saying that right. But to get there, you have to pass through some refineries, some pretty bumpy roads, some pretty flat land, and then you finally get to the place that you've been wanting to get to. Now, this isn't exactly the most southeasternmost point. To actually get to it, you have to pretty much go through a bunch of croc-infested marshes, but this is the most accessible point that you can possibly do. And of course I was there and I had to pee, so I have now peed in the center of Texas and in Texas' most southeasternmost point. But it was kind of cool. I felt accomplished. You get to see some of the ships going out into the Gulf and everything. But that is Port Arthur for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.